悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽。声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽。声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽。声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽。声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽，嗡咕噜连声悉利吽。
阿弥陀佛，世界各地的莲花童子们，大家早上好。
Tava. Welcome, all Padma Kumaras from all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We meet once again. I'm the MC for this lesson. I'm DA Chuyun. I'm from Xingdeng Town. Today is 15 March 2024. We asked for this course, it will be in 3 languages, in Chinese, English, and Bahasa Indonesia. And when the class is ended, after the class is ended, there will be replay in the 3 languages on YouTube. So if you wish to revise, you can look at the YouTube. You can search. You can go onto YouTube to look at the past lessons. Our counselor will put a link on the chat so that you can watch the replay after. You can watch the replay after the class. Could you just give us a minute, please?
那今天的课程呢是生命礼仪的第1章弘誓第3节，在家行者应有的婚姻观。
So today we are still on the 5th course. It's chapter 1, Auspicious Events. Lesson 3, Perspective on Marriage for Lay Practitioner. We have Master LianFei, who is a very experienced Dharma propagator, to deliver the class. So we have a total of 20 questions collated from last lesson. And after lesson, he will answer your questions. So just a gentle reminder that your questions should be related to the lesson, whether you're on Zoom, YouTube, or Facebook. You can still present your questions on the various chats, and our counselors will collate those questions. In addition, True Buddha School Online University, for this 5th course, we have actually created a WhatsApp chat group for students. There's an Indonesian chat, and there's a chat there's chat for the Indonesian speaking group and one for the Chinese speaking group. So you can actually, we will ask Dharma Assistant Wei to share the link for this WhatsApp group to everyone.
好，那在这
Let's hang
个
out for a
留言
minute.
区 Zoom 上面的留言区呢，我就会发上来。好，那在这里呢，也特别
Please
提醒
refer
同
to
仁，
the chat
大
box
家一起呼
chat
吁，能
box
参与一
on the
起学
WhatsApp
习、一起上课。
grouped in
有
Chinese
兴
and
趣考试的
Indonesian.
同仁，可以
I
到
would
网
just like
络
to
大
have a
学
gentle
上面
reminder,
做登
please,
记。
for those
如
who
果你
wants
是
to take
旁听学
the
习，想
exams
挑
for
战考
this
试，我们都
module,
无比欢迎你。
please register as a
好，
student
那现在
on
呢，
the
稍微考一考大
TBSOU
家哦。上
website.
一节课
I'd
莲
like
飞上
to
师为我
test
们
you.
讲解
Remember
了第
last
1
week,
章
Master LianFei
2 节
talked
字
about
如何挑选吉日。 大
how
家
to
在
choose an
上课
auspicious
学习
date.
到的一个重点是什么呢？是否
What
大
is the
家还
key
记得？
thing
那
that you
欢迎
have
大家
learned?
现在留言分享。
I would
那我
like
们
you
在这里
to,
呢，
could you
把
please
大
share
家
the
录
key
进这个讲
takeaway
稿。
on the
那
chat
可以大家
box?
分享一下
What
上
do
一
you
节课
learn
你是否
during the
听到
last
了
lesson?
什么一个重点，或者你还记得什么？那大家欢迎留言。那在大
So
家
what
留言
key
的当儿，
takeaways
我
you
先
have?
和线上 Zoom 的同门打个招呼。
Let me just say
那我
hi
们
to
在这
everyone
里
on
看
Zoom.
到了授课导师莲飞上师已上
Master
线，
LianFei is
还
already
有我们的辅
online.
导员莲花一才讲师。
We have our
我
counselor,
们今天
Dharma
的翻译
Instructor
员莲花一
Itai,
家助教。 今天
myself,
我们印尼语的翻译员是
and
莲花佩
also
佩
the
芬助
interpreter
教，
for the Bahasa
还有我
Indonesian
们的
channel,
释莲如教授师，
DA Pei Fen, and
辅导
also
员
Senior
莲花
Reverend
美助教。
Shi Lianru,
好，请
and also counselor,
还
our
有我们
counselor,
的莲
DA
花小
Mei
香助教，
So
莲花理
DA
清师姐，
Xiaoxiang is also there, and a lot of the other Dharma sisters and brothers are slowly
还
coming
有马来西
online.
亚法显堂的师姐，维圣原相雷藏寺的同门。好，还有老钟师兄，那欢迎大家呢，也打开摄像头，让我们
Welcome everyone. I would like to encourage you to turn on your video
可以更换您的名字，莲花某某，
and
对我们负
also
责认识。
do change your
好，这边
name
看到留言区，老宗师
to
兄有
indicate your
写到，
Dharma name
我
so
们学
that
习到了
we can
旧
get to know
酒
you
满
better.
房定值这些
And
到
what
底
do
是
we
什么
learn? Let
好
me
呢？
look at a chat
还有
box.
学习到了择日的重要，来讲是
We
因为
learned
大家来
about
了。
the different terms, the different
还
days,
有
like
就
for
是
example,
黄道
construct
吉
day,
日、
removal day, the
天
full
道
day.
凶日。
And
那
last
我们
week,
再来
another
看
comment
留
said that
言
last week
区。
we learned about the importance of choosing a
好，
date.
欢迎大家在 YouTube 跟
And then
Zoom
another
这里
one is
Zoom 还有 Facebook
choosing
都
an
可以留
auspicious
言。
day, what we
那
know
我
as
这边呢，可以帮大
a
家
yellow
把收集到
auspicious
的问
date
题或者
and
是
a
大
black
家的
inauspicious day.
问安。好，距离呢上课时间呢还有1分钟。
We
那
are 1 minute
我
away
要
from
再
our
讲一
class.
下今天这一节
I
课，
would like
我们会
to
有
share a
莲
little
上
bit
师教我
of
们深度的
about
解
this
析。
class.
关
So
于
Master
佛教
Lianfei
的婚
was
姻
to
观有
be
关于
delivering
我
this
们妻子
class.
应当如
We'll
何
be talking about the
乐心
perspective of
祈
marriage
福，
in
还有我们生活
Buddhism
对基
and the
本
roles
婚
both
姻
the
的教
husband
导
and
和
wife
理解。
should
最后
play
我们再
in
来
a
讲宗
marriage.
派独特的真佛宗扶正仪轨的解说。大家记得
So
请
we will
遵从
also
学习
be
在上课时有所领悟的重点动力，
explain.
也
We will
可以
also be
记录
talking
在你的
briefly
手机
about
上，
the
记录
sadhana
非
for the
常深的
marriage
相信
ritual,
我们的上课
marriage
师
blessing.
莲飞上师也希望大家能多多回馈上课的心得和感想。
We welcome you to
好，
share your
那
learning
我们现
insights
在
after the
的时
class.
间已经是8
It's
点
now
整，
8
事不宜
p.m.
迟，我们生命礼仪
Let's
课程正式开始。
Our
首
class
先，
starts
让
now.
我们大
Let's
家一
first
起
put our
圈前
palms
恭送
together
合掌，顶礼根本传承上
and
师，
pay
取
homage to
决
our
永
root
生活
lineage
佛，
guru, living
顶
Buddha
礼传
Lianshen,
承祖
past
师，
lineage guru of the
坛城
true
三
Buddha
宝，
school,
诸佛菩萨，祈请
the
圣
three
师
jewels of the
永生活
shrine,
佛大力加
all
持。
Buddhas and
今日课
Bodhisattvas,
程
and
顺利
we
吉
ask for
祥
the
圆满，
blessings of
请大
Grandmaster
家
to
手
bless
结
this
莲
class.
花童子
Please
祈
form the
愿，
Padma Kumara
持诵莲花童
Mudra
子持
and
咒
beside
短
the
咒
Heart
祈愿
Mudra.
持咒。 Om Guru 莲
Guru
生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home Om Guru 莲生 Siddhi Home Om Guru
Guru
莲生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home
Siddhi Home.
Om Guru
Om Guru
莲生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home
Siddhi Home.
Om Guru
Om Guru
莲生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home
Siddhi Home.
Om Guru
Om Guru
莲生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home
Siddhi Home.
Om
Om
Guru
Guru
莲生
Lianshen
Siddhi Home。
Siddhi Home.
阿弥陀佛，尊敬的授课老
Amitabha,
师莲飞上
the
师、会长
Honorable
莲花
Instructor,
种子
Master
上师、
Lianfei,
教育处
Master
处
Chen
长莲
Chu,
鹤上师、
Education
文宣处
Director,
处长莲月上
Master
师、
Lianhe,
公关处处
Publicity
长林家
Director,
上
Master
师，
Lian Yue,
以及
PR
线上的
Director,
师
Master
兄、
Lian
教授师、
Lian Jia,
讲师、
and
讲师、
all
助教，
Masters,
请
Senior
世界
Reverends,
各地
Reverends,
的
Dhamma
莲花童子
Instructors,
们，
Dhamma
大
Assistants,
家
and all
早上
Padma
好，晚
Kumaras
安，
from all over
晚
the
上
world. Good
吉祥。
morning, good afternoon,
欢迎
good
大家
evening.
参加今天的课程。
Welcome
上一
for
节呢， 莲
welcome
飞
for
上
joining
师为
us
我们
again.
讲解了第一讲，
Last
第
week,
二节
Master
如
Lianfa
何
talked
挑选
about
吉日。
how to
今天
choose
我
an
们将
auspicious
学
day.
习
That
的
was
是
lesson 2.
第
Today
九、
we're going to
第
talk
三节
about
在家行赠姻
today
缘
he's
的
going
婚
to
姻
talk
观。
about
接下来就让我们一起打上666
perspective on
以
marriage
最
for lay
最热烈的掌声，有
practitioners.
请授课师莲飞上师
Please
为我
type
们大家授
666
课，
as
有请
to
莲
indicate a
飞上
welcome
师。
to Master Lin Fei.
好，
Let's welcome Master Lin
好，首
Fei.
先我们大家再次
First,
相
let's
称合十，
put our
无
palms
心
together
顶礼无
and
上真
wholeheartedly
护法
pay
王
homage
上真
to
传
our
承上师
root
父
lineage guru
永
living
生
Buddha
活
Lian
佛，
Shen.
一心虔诚顶礼真佛重力来传承祖
Wholeheartedly
师，
pay homage to the root,
帮助
the
师
past
父
lineage
护
guru
法
of the
上师
true
尊，
Buddha school,
祈求大方光明加持
three
今日上课
jewels, and
圆
all
满圆
Buddhas,
满。
Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas,
哦，
Dhamma
不如
protectors of
莲
the
生是
shrine.
地后，尊敬的
May
真
Grandmaster
佛
really
长
light on
坛
us.
城主上师，尊敬的教育处处长联合上师，宣传
Greetings
处处长
to
连月
the
上
Honorable
师，
Chairman,
公关处处长
Master
连家上师，以及尊敬
Chen
各位
Zhou,
上师、教授
Master
师、
Lin
法
He,
师、
Master
讲师、助
Lin
教、
Yue,
同
Master
学
Lin
并
Jia,
到场领导
all Dhamma
及全
Instructor
场的
Dhamma,
我
all,
们
all
的
Masters, all Senior Reverends,
大
Reverends Dhamma Instructor
家吉
Dhamma
祥，阿弥陀
Assistants,
佛
and all fellow disciples.
还有特别
Amitabha everyone.
这个尊敬的主持人秋韵助教。
And
还有印
also
度
greetings
也
to
一场的助教，还有
the
莲花园
Honorable must MC, interpreters, myself, and Dharma assistant Pathan. So we are still at chapter 1, auspicious events. And we're now at lesson 3, perspective on marriage for lay practitioner. So let's start. So once we've chosen to get married, marriage becomes an affirmation and commitment of responsibilities and obligations. We should take responsibility for our own actions, for our own choices, and use wisdom to run the family. So in Buddhism, there are two main categories of Buddhists: the monastic disciples and lay disciples. The fundamental intention of a monastic is to deliver himself and others. And a lay disciple can also attain accomplishments if he cultivates. And marriage is a joint effort between two people to build a blissful life. And whether it's a husband or wife, both should play their role well. So as we say, spouses should try to understand one another. Once you have that understanding,
我们知道释迦牟尼佛非
and we
常
know
重
that
视
Shakyamuni
家庭生活，
plays great importance on family life of all sentient beings, as well as the way in which husband and wife should live in harmony. The Buddha believed that lay disciples are exemplars of Buddhist teachings. And when Buddha was teaching the Dharma, many lay disciples learned the Dharma and took refuge. So Buddha had given Dharma teachings on the 4 types of practices that lay disciples should understand their cultivation journey. And these 4 types of practices are recorded in the Great Nirvana Sutra. So what are these 4 practices? First, to fulfill filial piety wholeheartedly and respect your parents. Second, always follow virtuous principles. Guide and mentor your wife and children. Third, be compassionate towards servants and understand their needs. And fourth, be close to virtuous people and away from evil people with malicious intent. If one follows these 4 practices, one will be well loved and respected by all in this lifetime. And in the future, one will always be reborn in a wholesome place. So these verses in the sutra, they are quite vernacular. So in the second practice, it spoke about guiding and mentoring your wife and children. The Buddha taught how a husband should set an example for his wife and children, and to fulfill his responsibilities as a husband and father. We know that Buddha is very compassionate, and in many of the sutras, there are similar teachings. So in the Upasaka Sila Sutra, there are 5 things that a husband should do to show love and respect towards his wife. And similarly, there are also 13 things a wife should do to honor and obey the wife. So first of all, as a husband,
相待以礼，丈夫应该时刻以爱心。
Okay, first of all, treat each other with courtesy. A husband should always remember with loving kindness the hard work that his wife put in for giving birth and raising children and for taking care of the household chores. And often we heard GM says, sing praises to Shimu. And every night, Shizhen will give blessings and perform boundary protection to in the room of a Shimu. This is really this is loving kindness towards one's spouse. Second, husband should not be contemptuous towards his wife, but respect her. Both should respect and love each other. And third, ensure availability of food and clothing always. A husband should at all times provide for his wife's daily essentials. Fourth, dignified appearance. A husband should provide his wife with clothing and accessories so that she may be beautiful and presentable. I remember when I was in my youngest day, I respected a lot. I respected a lot a Taiwanese author Luo Lan. She wrote a lot of essays, and they were all based on her personal experiences. She's an author, and her husband was a reporter. Their income is not high. So there was one day the husband to be brought Lolan shopping to buy something that's useful. They were both immigrants from China, so they don't have a lot of money. And after working for a long time, Lolan only chose one item, which is a perfume. So even before marriage, a husband to be is already treated the wife very well. Their family is very blissful. So yeah, this resonates with the fourth practice. The fifth practice, management of household, when a husband entrusts his wife with the management of household finances and his dependence. This is also a sign of trust in his wife. And similarly, a wife should be kind and respectful towards her husband in the following 13 ways. So what are they? First, a wife should respect and be considerate towards her husband. Here, I would like to share a story about a famous the famous interpreter. Her name is Yang Jiang. She has this essay which which is a literal translation, three persons. And if you have read the book, you will feel the beauty in life. Her husband is a well-known author, Qian Zhongshu. Their family life is very blissful. So the wife is very respectful towards the husband. And there was one time Yang Jiang, the wife, was hospitalized because she was going to have a baby. She had a daughter, and in the delivery room while she was resting, his husband came to the ward and told her that I've spilled the ink, so all the cloth are stained. And the wife just simply replied, "Don't worry about it. I will settle it when back home." So you can see how peacefully this is being settled. They're so patient, you know. She's so patient towards the husband. This shows her consideration towards the husband. And the second way is a wife should manage her husband's attire and food. Just look at Shimu. she's always taking care of GM Grandmaster's dragon ropes. So the mother is the world. So the third would be a wife should appreciate that her husband is working hard as his job. And the fourth is a wife should take good care of the home and be diligent in household chores. I think this is easy to understand. And the fifth, a wife should manage the relationships amongst family members well, so that the family will be harmonious. Six, a wife should show filial piety by respecting and taking proper care of the elders from her husband's family. Personally, for many years, when I was conducting marriage solemnization to married couples, my Dharma teachings will always revolve around filial piety. I will always remind them from this day onwards. The parents of the wife is also the parents of the husband and vice versa. So you must show respect to both, must show equal respect to both. And when I say this, both parents from both sides will keep nodding their head. A wife should show her affection by protecting and caring for elders from the husband's family while they walk. 8. A wife should be careful and truthful in her words. So do not lie. She cannot lie. And 9, a wife should be warm and sincere to her guests. Also like a famous author called Qi Jin. She's from Taiwan. She's a collection of essays, which is the Buddhi tree of my mother. And there was this essay inside that talked about the dumpling festival. It talks about the taste of dumpling. His essays are all about singing praises to her mother, who is kind and caring. She talked about in the past how her mother served the guests well, and even during some festive seasons, there will be a group of beggars outside their house, and her mother will be very patient to serve the beggars and serve them dumplings and food. So she's really a so she treat them equally despite their status. Number 9, a wife should be warm and sincere to her. A wife should praise a guest with joy so that they have a sense of homecoming. And 11, a wife should clean the seats for her guests as an indication of respect. And number 12, a wife should prepare clean and hearty food to entertain her guests.
这里我会提到一个
And I'd like to talk about Sang Mao. She's a very well-known author. There is an essay that she wrote, the story of Sahara Desert. There's an essay which talk about and in this particular essay to talk about being in the Sahara Desert, and Sang Mao was actually a housewife. And she's busy in the kitchen. That there was one day her husband told her, her husband manager wants to visit them and wants to taste the Chinese dishes and wants to eat Chinese dishes, and somehow told the husband that we don't have any food at home. The manager has specifically said the type of Chinese food that he wanted to eat. So somehow is a very wise lady. She told, in the end, she did cook bamboo shoots with mushroom, and the guests kept praising her, her cooking skills. And she actually replaced the bamboo shoots with cucumber and to make it into an expensive dish. Number 13, a wife should know how to make offerings to the Sangha in order to grow her blessings. We all know that, like reciting the Kiskaba Sutra, in the Kiskaba Sutra, and also the Liang Emperor repentance practice. We know what happened, but you don't know how to make offerings to the Sangha. That's a story in both the sutras. I would like to. So you will realize that all these famous authors, they are their writings are full of ethics. They often say, Yang Jiang said that okay, you will know that they are quite long live. 105 for one of them and 95 for another. And for another, she passed on in her 80s. And then for Bing Xing, another famous author, she's 99. And then Chong Yao, the famous Taiwanese author, she's still alive. So all these famous authors, they're very long lived. Just like a grandmaster, all his collections are full of golden quotes. So I'm pretty sure that grandmaster will be long life too. Have long life. So this ethics and ethical show the importance Buddhism places on the marriage life of lay disciples, and therefore emphasizes the need for husbands and wives to respect and love each other. Only with a harmonious marriage and family will one be able to make a positive impact and play a role to build a stable and harmonious society. So for this next section, I feel that this section is very important. It talks about living Buddha Lian's teaching on how to manage one's marriage. He said there is no mere coincidence. Everything in the world has its own affinity. So marriage is not something casual, rather it is an affinity. And whether it's good or bad, it already existed and created between two parties in their previous lifetime. So we have selected marriage and chosen to be with each other this lifetime. This means we are fully prepared to face the rest of our lives together. Everyone hopes for their marriage to be blissful, but in order to build a harmonious family, both partners must make contributions to make this happen. So every time when I do marriage dedication, when I solemnize a marriage, I always hope that both this family will build a Buddhist family. However, as Buddhist disciples, we do not have to worry about this. Though the Buddha Dharma is deep like the ocean and huge like the void, the Buddha Dharma is part of life and present in our everyday life. They are just waiting for sentient beings to comprehend it. So what is the secret to managing one's marriage? Living Buddha Lianshen has a few secrets to this. His Holiness utilizes the wisdom of the Buddha Dharma to guide sentient beings, the compassion and loving kindness of the Buddha Dharma to deliver sentient beings, so that lay practitioners are able to comprehend the truth of the Buddha Dharma and understand how to manage one's family properly. So, in addition, um, in a family life, in our family life, in managing one's family, it's important to understand what tolerance is, which is one of the parameters in the six parameters. So when in managing one's family, both partners must understand what tolerance is. Everyone has their strengths and shortcomings. Don't just look at the faults of your partner. When you're unhappy, dissatisfied with your partner, it will be easy to develop friction, and families will also be living with scars and suffering pain. But tolerance does not mean suppressing your emotions, nor resenting, nor or remembering your partner's faults. If you continue to do this for a long time, it will be dire straits the day the dam finally breaks. So, living Buddha Lianshen taught tolerance is to transform a problem into nothing. So when spouses disagree with each other, they should not lose their temper nor be unreasonable. Rather, they should calm down and discuss the problem. So 2 days ago, there was a Dharma sister who sent me a message. She said, Master, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I can't put up with my Dharma brother anymore. I've just exploded. How do I control my emotions? I told her that before you explode, take a step back, take a deep breath. Of course, it's easy to just say, but putting it into practice could be rather difficult. So to have a blissful family, a couple must work together to maintain it. If your partner cannot accept your suggestion as the other half, you should exercise tolerance and take a step back. So spouses must give in and accommodate each other. So imagine if both parties take a step forward towards each other at the same time, they will definitely bump into each other. Hence, as practitioners, we must practice the parameter of tolerance. Only then we will attain accomplishment in our cultivation and always have a blissful family. So these are the teachings from Grandmaster to practice tolerance. So living Buddha Lianshen often talk of disciples, the truth. So living so sorry, instead so living Buddha often taught the truth of the universe, which is impermanence. There is absolutely nothing that will always be a permanent state. So it is the same for marriage. We cannot demand for the other party to have unchanging love towards you. This possessiveness towards love is an attachment. And once you fall into this trap, you will be forever be suffering. You live a life of suffering. So how do we make marriage life interesting? Instead of being attached and focused only on marriage relationship, couples could divert their attention and develop other kinds of emotional support, such as friendship, picking up new hobbies. You can have a common hobby, so you have common topics to talk about, interest and entertainment even. They can choose a preferred activity and shift the attachment for possessive love to invest in another relationship. And this would definitely reduce attachments and monotony in life. ensure longevity and the relationship of the couple. So in reality, married couples often develop suspicion towards each other. They're afraid that their loved one will be taken away by another, or that their partner will no longer love them. So all these afflictions are the start of our suffering. If we become obsessed with them, they become attachments. So at this point of time, we should remember living Buddha Lianshen's teachings that life is impermanent, nothing or no one can be held onto, nothing and no one belongs to us at all. Affinities rise and perish naturally. So if you can grasp this truth, you will not have any afflictions. If you are able to transform attachments to being natural, your life will be peaceful and your marriage will also be harmonious. So I remember more than 10 years ago, I was doing Tamil propagation at a small village. I think it's Samari. I remember the moment I arrived at the airport. So at that time, a lot of people read the physical newspapers. So everyone was very shocked by the news of the day. What news was that? There are two young women who harm each other due to a man. So because one woman felt that the husband no longer loved her and was highly suspicious of him and will quarrel with him every day, and in the end, the more they fight, they argue, the lesser the love the husband had for her. At the end, the husband had a mistress, and this mistress was actually the good friend of this lady, and in the end, they became enemies. So they're familiar with the living habits of each other. So one day they were at the market. The wife and the mistress were at the market. So they actually came prepared. What did they prepare? They were holding, oh no, they were holding a, a, a bottle of gas, a can of gas in their hands. So they are enemies meeting each other. So they were separated maybe 3 to 5 meters. They were silent. And both of them poured the gasoline on each other. Everyone was shocked. Everyone at the market was shocked. They couldn't figure out what was happening. The two women trying to ignite each other. They had a lighter in their hand. And they threw the lighter, once this lighter, to each other. And because both of them have gasoline on their body, the moment the lighter was ignited, both of them uh, were on fire. No one could save them. So the ambulance finally arrived and sent them to the hospital. They are in ICU. The degree of burns on their body was 70%, and they don't think they can pull through. And they were also in the same ICU. And at the end of the day, the man never turned up. The women harm each other. What is the point? There was a person who is very wise in his management of marriage. It's just like sand in your hand. The harder you hold on to the sand, it will flow out. At times it is necessary to let go, because the tighter you hold on to the sand, it's just like you forcing your husband. You keep asking them, "Do you love me or not?" The sand will you will lose the scent faster. So sometimes it's necessary to know when to let go. Yeah, when to relax. So let's continue. So how do we build a true Buddha family? So Buddha Dharma consists of both worldly and transcendental practices. If a lay disciple in cultivating worldly practices is able to realize the truth in transcendental practices, he can similarly attain accomplishment. In fact, to become family is an extraordinary affinity. If the entire family could take refuge in true Buddha school and cultivate together, that would really be marvelous. And the Avatamsaka Sutra, it was recorded, even though you have your wife and children together with you, one should never for a moment abandon the Buddhi mind, which is a mind aspiring to be enlightened. This means that despite having a family, one should not forsake the ultimate goal to seek liberation, to become a Buddha, to benefit sentient beings. That is to remind us not to forget to cultivate. So therefore, we are not excluding anyone or requiring everyone to be ordained as a monastic. If a family is able to comprehend the wisdom of Buddha Dharma, able to appreciate the teachings of living Buddha Lianshen, no longer grabs onto attachments, practice tolerance, understand the truth of the universe, and build a harmonious Buddhist family who uphold precepts together, cultivate together, be liberated together, attain accomplishment together, that would be really remarkable. This way, one will be completely free from the sea of suffering and have a peaceful and joyful mind. So, spouses should encourage each other, especially in terms of cultivation, so that they can attain accomplishment together. So, Grandmaster, it's very clear about how one should manage one's marriage life. So, and one of his book, the Dharma King. I can't. The Dharma Kings of Kings. So there's an article in this book. What is the perspective towards marriage of an enlightened person? Someone asked me, marriage is an affinity. So a true Buddha disciple, if you have a good marriage, that's a wholesome karma. Congratulations. But if you have a bad marriage, this is due to evil affinity. So it's good to practice the paramita of tolerance. I would still congratulate too. So either way, we should congratulate whether it's a good or bad. We shouldn't blame the heaven. So if everyone understand, if you sow what you reap, if you will reap what you sow. Of course, the best karma would be having a good marriage. So this is one of the happiest thing, being a human in this human life. So what if you have a bad marriage where there are water and fire? So we should use cultivation to resolve this problem. So those who remain single, who didn't get married, they have no husband, no children as a burden. They don't have the burden of children or of a husband. They should take the opportunity to cultivate. So if you can see through this, you will have the mindset of an arahat. If you think that the marriage is so if you have marriage is like a burden and a lock that locks. So if you don't get married, it's freedom. So the marriage like a small little circle. This is due to karma. So if you have the affinity, the karma is around. If you don't have the affinity, the circle will be broken. So within the circle, whether the circle is there or whether the circle is broken or there's no circle, we don't know. Maybe you could be happy without the circle. Sometimes, affinity is not up to us to decide. Marriage is like a small circle. So if you are single, the heaven and the earth is your family. So it's a big circle. So within couples, if we have conflicts, if couples have if we look at this essay written by Grandmaster on the perspective of a cultivator, you will probably unlock the locks in your heart. So Grandmaster say must learn how to appreciate. So before the experience it, we feel that these are all before you experience them, before you experience you have experienced this, you feel that they are just teachings and a truth by the Grandmaster. But once you've experienced them, you know how true they are. So many true Buddha school disciples, they were asked, they were pray Grandmaster, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless your marriage to be a blissful one. So we have a few Dharma propagators like Dharma assistant Pei Fen and Dharma assistant Wen Guang and a Dharma assistant. Their marriage blessing rituals were conducted by me. So the two Buddhas could inherited the two Buddhas could inherited the Dharma lineage of the Buddha and propagating the Dharma with both worldly and transcendental practices. So worldly practices are for the circular world, and such practices teach sentient beings to eliminate their worldly afflictions through the Buddha Dharma and fulfill the wishes of sentient beings. For example, the way to eliminate sickness, to be granted a child, to seek marriage or a blissful family. These are actually foundational practices before one cultivates transcendental practices to transcend the secular world, eliminate delusions, and to verify the truth to become a Buddha. It can be said that the marriage blessing ritual is a Dharma teaching which exudes joy and fulfills the wishes of sentient beings. This teaching is a form of secular practice, and below the simplified marriage blessing sadhana carried out by a true Buddha school master to solemnize a message. So there was one day someone who is not from True Buddha school, he said, we have a couple who wants to be solemnized, but for them to come over. So usually after I've solemnized, I will give them the official marriage certificate issued by the temple. So with this certificate, they can go to the government office to arrange for a marriage license. The marriage license, government marriage license. So he didn't want to go to a marriage solemnization by the temple. Sorry, they are two Buddha school disciples. And I see that since they are disciples, they should know how blessed it is to be solemnized in. I actually rejected his request. All the while, when I do marriages solemnization, I want them to be I want them to be at the temple. I want them to be at the temple personally to solemnize marriage. So I actually have a working certificate to allow me to be an authorized signatory for the marriage certificate issued by the temple. So let's look at the marriage blessing sadhana. So the first will be singing incense praise, purification of the Dhammakaya body. Usually I will not sing the purification of the Dhammakaya body. So for this sadhana,
我本身的扶正仪式都有甚至有加入一些传统仪式的。
I will also add some. I will also add in some other things. Invite invoke lineage Guru, living Buddha Lian Shen, or Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, and Dharma protectors, and also the supplication.
加上这个五种贡品。
And also there will be the 5 offerings. And then they will rate homage and make offerings, and then we'll invite the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to bless the Buddhist disciples, recite the scroll, incinerate the scroll. Then the master to represent Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to solemnize the marriage. Next, the master will cleanse the couple with great compassion to running water. And the newlyweds will drink the great compassion the running water. The newlyweds will exchange gifts, and then the master will deliver. And most of the time during the marriage blessing sadhana, what do I add? I will include the traditional, the customs where the newlyweds will kneel in front of the parents. And actually, both parents were very happy to include this Chinese tradition. So I feel that this doesn't go against the sadhana, so I included this part in the marriage, included this in the marriage blessing sadhana. So especially they are true Buddha disciples. So this is more complete. And I will also add something. There's an Indonesian custom which is
也就是说，一堆新人在红色的圆满的那个金光里面呢，把他们合为一所以就有他们双方母亲来给他们披上披肩。
So this will be done by the parents of the couple. And then they will recite the marriage vows. This is stipulated by the government to recite these marriage vows. So I've included that in the sadhana as well as part of the. So this is the true Buddha school marriage blessing sadhana, which includes some traditions and some meaningful traditions and customs.
那我记得2个星期前啊。
I remember 2 weeks ago, March 2nd, I was still in Seattle during group cultivation. Grandmaster thought longevity people. So people who live a long life, it's not considered a memorial service when they pass away. It should be something celebratory. I remember in Jakarta, before COVID, that was about 5 years ago, there's a family, there was a household, the oldest family member.
是90多岁了，往生。
He is in his 90s and passed away. He was in the funeral parlor and he made it to the news. And during his farewell process, everyone was wearing a red.
然后呢
they didn't wear and then even invited the lion dance. So for traditionally, it would be against that because this is a memorial service. But when you reach a certain age and pass away, reach a certain age, when you pass away, it's no longer something, it's no longer mourning, it's something celebratory.
那时候他才不到10岁吧，所以就参加我们这里的那个少年班同修，然后一直
I
到他
remember there was this Tongman who came, joined us, who joined the temple when he was about 10. It is now in his 20s, and 2 years ago, it is now studying medical science. Oh, no, sorry, he's doing some specialized course. And 2 years ago, he called me to let me know that his father has passed away. He was crying. He was very sad. So I tried to console him and ask him,
那你父亲今年是几岁啊？
I asked him who is his father. He told me,
应该是
I think he was about, this gentleman was about 31, 32, but his father was in his 80s.
我说应该恭喜你
And I laughed
，90 多岁，他
lightly.
高
I said, I should in
生，
fact congratulate you.
恭喜你什么呢？他也是莫名其妙。我说恭喜你啊，
And
以
he
后你也
was
有这样的基因，长命百岁，身体健康。你看他的
he
父亲
was
是老来
puzzled
得子
why I
的
was
哦。
congratulating him.
所以他听了也
I said, because he has lived a long life.
人啊，
So this is something to celebrate a while, something to celebrate about. So this is no longer something to mourn. It's no longer mourning, but something to celebrate about.
那么这个以上啊，就是生命礼仪第1章红色第3节婚姻
So
关
this is a lesson 3.
所以大家知道吗？今天的这个讲义啊，
So the teaching materials, there's a lot of information today for today's class.
出自何处呢？
Where did they come from?
你看啊，所以这个应该非常赞叹这个我们教育处处长联合。
So I want to sing praises to Master Lian and his team. They actually did a lot of research for the teaching materials. They extracted these materials from quite a number of places. Like, for example, they extracted this teaching materials from the Upasaka Sila Sutra, the Great Nirvana Sutra, Lamre, the 9 stages of the Great Perfection, the Heart Sutra, and Grandmaster's literacy material, Grandmaster's literacy. So let's type 88888 to sing praises to Master Lian He and his fantastic team.
这个马来西亚时间9点少7分，哎，怎么总是9点少7分就结束？
So
因为今天问题很多，上个
we
星期
have a
留
lot
下
of
来问
questions
题很
today.
多
Now it's 8:50.
我们等下还要解答问题，所以呢，
So we have to spend some time to answer the questions.
非常的喜庆啊，所以今天我特别选了一个手佛曲呢，跟大家
So it's feel
一
very
起来
a
欣赏，
song
一起来唱。
sharing a sutra. This is actually a song. This is from Grandmaster's book 180. So I'll do a literal translation. This is the sutra for businesses. You meet Guan Yin the moment you start your business for the day, and there are Buddhas from north, south, east, and west. Everything becomes auspicious. All your goods are sold out. Okay, so you all can follow the pinyin if you want to learn how to sing this song.
出门神已经。
So you meet Guan Yin the moment you start your business for the day.
东也一群佛，西也一群佛，南也一群佛。
Buddhas from the east, Buddhas from the west, Buddha from the north, and Buddhas from the south. The sutra for businesses. You meet Guan Yin the moment you start your business for the day. There are Buddhas in the east, there are Buddhas in the west, there are Buddhas in the north, and Buddhas in the south. So everything becomes auspicious. All your goods are sold out.
一迈就遇到观世音，东也一群佛，西也一群佛，南也一群佛，北也一群佛。 出门神已经，一迈就遇到观世音。东也一群佛，西也一群佛，南也一群佛，北也一群佛。 一切吉祥和平，一切吉祥和平，全迈进。出门神已经，一迈就遇到观世音。 东也一群佛，西也一群佛，南也一群佛，北也一群佛。和平全迈进。
好，接下来我交给主持人邱印助教。
Back to the MC. We gratitude Master LianFei for your exciting and detailed explanation of the class, and we've benefited a lot from your teaching. Now we enter into Q&A. We have 20 questions today. Let's just hang on for a minute. So the first question, Amitabha Master LianFei, if we wish to exhume a grave to remove the remains of a disease, what day should we choose?
好，阿弥陀佛。这里他指的应该是那个剪经啊，那个叫做剪经。那通常剪经会是火化。
So
那
if
现在
you want to do a grave exhume,
要留意是什么呢？
exhume a case, what are the key things you should look out for?
请问一下这个王子，他是不
You
是愿
first
意
ask the deceased if he's willing to be exhumed. You can use the moon blocks.
要非常非常的小心。
Yeah, especially to.
选什么日子呢？
So what date should we choose? We choose the true day, a removal day.
冲犯对这个主事者没有冲犯的就 OK 了。
And a timing that doesn't clash with the key person.
何算值
So
日？
second question, what is considered a duty? What is considered a duty?
明白，值
I
日
think
它
last week it was already very clear.
它就是12个值日，它就是每天
There
这
are
样就
actually 12
们
duty days, and they're continued
星期有
and
讲
recurred.
这个12个值日
They are continuous and recurring.
什么事情啊，都有的讲得很清楚，应该再重新在 YouTube 上再上去再看多一
Maybe
遍。
you should go onto YouTube and go through the lesson again.
那个12个值日呢，刚刚讲的除日除日就
Just
是
now I talked about the 12 duty days. Remove a day. It means to remove or eliminate something that's not good and to welcome something new. So, for example, we do spring cleaning, like renovating a house. We will have to use the remove day.
举一反三就可以知道那个12个值日应该是选用那个日子，好像开张当然是开日。
Like for example, starting a business.
好像是比如说要成就一些什么重要事情，那我们可以选满日。
Or if there's something important that you need to fulfill, you can use the full day. It's a question. Master, how do we choose a date for funeral-related events? Example, closing up a coffin burial.
我自己手上有名历，那名历啊。
This
不是最上面一个是
in
日
the almanac, we talk about.
再下来就是再下来就是有讲到那一天适合做什么
We
事。
have to look at a calendar which states what is suitable and what not, and what's suitable is in red, and what is not suitable is in black.
尤其是红色
And if say suitable, that will be in red. That'd be good. That means you can perform an act.
安葬
If it's indicate that you can do burial.
告别仪式会不会要去土葬
So,
啊，或者是
for example, you have to do a memorial service. You need to do cremation. So if there's indication in the column that is in red, you can perform this. It just have to be and you find auspicious hour.
但是问题是呢，好像上个星期我
But
提到
that's a question that I did highlight yesterday during COVID period. Many people have their coffin left in a mortuary, and it doesn't last for, and they were cremated the very next day. So because of COVID, no one could attend a funeral. It has to be cremated the next day. So in this case,
入殓那么好的吉时都没办法选到这样的好
we
的。
have to find the auspicious it's quite difficult to find auspicious date and
如
time
我
in this
们
case because it's such a short time period. You died today and tomorrow you need to be cremated.
所以万一
So in cases like this, you are not able to choose an auspicious date and time. I did mention that you just have to recite the auspicious verses. So this is one way to get around that problem. So of course,
有个红色字幕的安葬啊、入殓啊，那就太好了那就一切都就是更圆满了多留意一下那个名利，多翻开名利看。
observe, take a closer look at the almanac, the Chinese almanac, to understand a little bit better. You can refer to last week's class. Question for Master: what day should we choose to install a tablet at Leisangsi for our ancestors? Next question is regarding combining the tablets of our ancestors into one tablet. This is known as He in Chinese customs. And the question asked is if the family has performed He on their own in a simple ritual. How do they know that the actions have been successful?
对王子是好的，对他都是
when you talk about installing a tablet,
要
it's
之
not
前
so
呢
much
要
about
先
choosing a
争取他的
date.
意见，那
We
个是
should
最好的
first
就是用卜碑的方式，比如说
ask
我
the deceased by using the moon
祖
blocks.
先安在好像印尼雷藏寺、地藏殿，或
Whether
者
he's
是
okay with whether it's okay with installing his memorial tablet at a certain place. So if it's a 圣碑, yes, the moon blocks show yes.
择吉日吉时就 OK。其实呢，我们在印尼雷藏寺天天都有人来按这个，不是天天，时常都有人来这个找我们的灵魂。
So very often there are people who look for our reverence and senior reverence to install the memory tablet. So it's not so much about choosing a date. It's more to seek approval from the person who passed on. His preference on where to install the tablet.
所以它只是按年位
So this is not about cremation or burial. It's just more about installing a memorial tablet at a temple. So yeah, it's perfectly okay for family members to do their own He. So if you're a cultivator who have practiced diligently, we do have that blessing power. You just have to visualize a great master atop your crown, recite the Padma Kumara's mantra, and just do follow some simple steps. That should be fine. So how do we know that the He is successful? It's successful. Say we use moon blocks.
到位的话，祖先都非常满意的。
So if your ancestors are happy with the arrangement, he will tell you. The only thing we look up for when you do the He, that means combining the tablets of our ancestors. You can't do it if the person has passed on for less than a year.
在家里，假如有神位啦，有祖先神位的祖先牌位的，我们也不可以将那个
So even you have an individual tablet at home for the person who just passed on, you cannot combine the tablets. You have to do a separate tablet and wait for at least a year later. So this is the key thing to look out for. If the person has passed on for less than a year, you cannot combine the tablets. You cannot He, you cannot combine.
好的，明白，感恩上师。那接下来呢，第5道问题，请问时辰用当地为准吗？比如台湾目前是晚上。
Is it accurate to use the local time as a guide
7点卯时
to find an auspicious timing? For example, in Taiwan, it's 9 p.m. now, which is the hour of high. And then in Central America, it is 7 a.m. the hour of mount.
准点。
Well, basically, you just use the local time
假如你
as a guide.
时的那个吉时是辰时，那你就
For example, in
选你当地的时
Chen,
间，比如说你在台
but
湾
in the local
啊，你已
time,
经选到了时
just
日已
use the
经有
local
了，然
time.
后吉时
You've
OK 是
chosen
辰时，就
a
是早上
day.
7点到9
So
点，那你就以当地台湾的
the
时
auspicious
间
time
来
is
做标
Chen
准，
hour,
你
which
不
is
要用
between
美
7
国
to
的
9.
或者用马来西亚英语
If
的
in
那个
Taiwan, please don't
不适
use
合的，
the time from other countries. You should use the
哦，
local time as
那
the
个是
correct
可以理
reference.
解的。好，
Okay, so
好，谢谢
to
上
understand,
师。
right?
那第6道问题，阿弥陀佛上师
So the
在
sixth
冲
question,
生肖
Master,
牌
is
有一个
flashing.
方
So
向，那是什么意思？谢谢。
direction, what is
因
that
为上个星期
exactly?
五也是有提到了，
I think
上
I
个星
mentioned
期
in last
五，
week's class
那个图表下面不是有一个，比如说
in the
啊，
chart
我看这里
that I
啊，
showed
冲
last week.
时、岁煞西啊，也就是说，
There's a chart
它
that
就是在
show
同
which
一
is the
个
clashing
格子里面，
direction.
冲时就是那
So
天
they
呢，
will be in the
这
same
个
box.
对
So maybe you
属
could
蛇的
refer
人有
to
冲，
last week's
而且对某
note.
某属蛇几岁的人特别有冲犯。那岁煞西什么意思呢？意思说，他那天呢最好不要向西去办事。当然指的是办
They
重要事，
indicate
比如说
that
他要
what
出远，
direction you should not, which direction you should not go to for that
向
day
西走的
to avoid the clash.
要避免。然后
So
呢，
please refer to last
他
week's
比如
note.
说跟人
There's a
家
chart that
约好了
Master
要
LianFei
签
has
合同，
given
然后他
in
的地方在
his
哪里呢？是在他本
teaching
身居
materials.
住的西方哦，那也不好。其实现在的很少人去顾虑到这些
So
了。
now this is
假如真的顾
actually
虑这些，
it's
很多
actually
事情
not
就办不
common
了。
for people
假如心中有感到，已经看
check
到
on
了
the
那个
directions
冲煞的
before
部
they
位
do
啊，什么
something.
对什么方向
You see
有
something that is
煞的啊，
if you
那
see an
那
unfavorable
心里感到不
direction
安。好啦，就
and
念
you
个
don't
吉祥颂
feel
好
at
了，
peace,
解决了啊。
all you need to do is recite the auspicious verses and that's solve it all.
上师，那第7道问题，阿弥陀佛上师
Seventh
在
question.
灵骨
Every time
塔拜
Master
祖
when pray to our ancestor at the columbarium, can we do merits dedication? Can we do merits dedication for rebirth? Because most people say that this will attract a lot of spirits.
因为我们在那个灵骨
I
塔
think everyone has over worry.
那边回向的时候都是有指名道姓，就是回向给我们的祖先某某某，对不对？ 不可能回向给
Station,
那边的什么
so
幽灵吧？不会吧？
this merits dedication are for. So there's no need to worry about
没
this
有这个问题的啊。
I don't think
反而呢，比如
problem.
说我们在地藏殿啊，诵经
Yeah,
以后啦，
the
或者诵往
artistic
生位以后
Makaba
啦，
Hawk
比如说我们那个莲红教授是吧， 他时常在地藏殿满嘛，而在那边诵经以后呢，回向给某某，因为有家属来特别要求
after doing
那个，比如说
sutra
是
recitation
他
merits
的祖先的忌日啦，要求来诵
dedication
经，
for
那回向
particular
给他的那个某某人主事者的
particular
祖先， 那
deceased person
应该呢
to a particular ancestor.
针对那个某某人的祖先某某人祖先，那假如说莲红教授是他也要
Specific
回向给那个地藏殿的那幽灵中的，
for
也可以的，
example
因为地藏殿里面好多供奉做幽灵。那我们也是发心把这个
merits
刚刚
to
送的那个阿弥陀经啦，甚至地藏经啦，那回向
okay
给那个祖先后，我们也是回向给地藏殿供奉的各幽灵，那个也是 OK 的，他们都会非常感激你的，所以不会
you
说
can
引
do
起什么这说什么一般人说往生会回向会引起很多幽灵，引来很多幽灵，不会的，会其实一个修行人啊，他时常持咒的，他时常做功课的，那他本身的那个身体都会有灵光，都有发光，所以会有很多那些跟他有缘的那个幽灵都会喜欢来找他只是有时候没办法跟他沟通，找他什么？找他要求送什么往生咒给他，或者等等这些都会的，因为他本身有那种能力有修行的人就有那种能力哦这个题外话了。好，
好，
OK，
明白。好，感恩上师。那第8道问题，阿弥陀佛，上师，据我所知，灵魂不能去到别的国家。如果把亡者的骨灰安在国外的灵骨塔，亡者的灵魂是否能去到那边？感恩。
这可能是他以一般人的那个角度来看这个事情哦。其实呢，在幽灵界呢是没有距离的是没有距离的，没有这个国度的这个距离的，没有的。呃，讲到这里，我记得以前那个科学家爱因斯坦，他曾经怎么样证明了这个世界上有这个宇宙间有那个第四维度，呃，只是可惜它的公式还没有列出来啊。这个第四个维度就是什么呢？就是时间。我们人活在这个世界上，就是有距离嘛，有长度、宽度加上个高度。那爱因斯坦真的找到呃一个维度，就是时间。就可惜那个公式还没有被他证明出来，不然的话，我们现在已经可以超越时间了，时间的维度了，所以这个刚才说那个灵魂不能去别的国家，其实不用担心，只要我们在哪里奉请啊，他都会来接受我们的那个什么诵经的功德啦等等的超度的功德都会的哦，不用担心的。
好的，感恩上师的解释。那接下来第9道问题，如果现在有选到一个日子里面事宜事项是对的，但是冲到了参与事项的某一位成员的生肖，那是否就是不能用呢？
其实呢，我们通常就是以主事者本身来做那个标准。那主事者假如对他有冲犯的话，当然是我们要考虑。甚至说主事者的他啦，还有他的师姐，还家人呐、比较亲近的家人。那其他的那些外人呢，我们就不在考虑范围之内了。不再考虑换人。假如说全部都考虑得到，那12个生肖全部都是被冲犯到，一定有被冲犯到的，那怎么办那假如主事者之外的人呢，他比如说我们要去殡仪馆，那考虑到，诶，我今年是犯太岁啊，冲太岁啊，是不是要去吗？那我们就自己做考虑自己要去之前做结界啊，那就自己考虑好了。那主事者呢？假如他成员很多，家庭是个大家庭，那通常我们就是以什么？以那个主事者本身以及他接近跟他最
Sorry.
接近人，考虑到他们的生肖的，其他的
So
就没有
it
这么
says
考
that
虑了。因为
okay,
通
that
常都是冲在
question
生肖
9.
啊。
If we have
Oh,
chosen a date that's suitable for an event, but this clashes with the
感恩
zodiac
上
of the
师。
person
那
who's
第
joining
8
this
道问
event, can
题，
we
阿
still
弥陀
use the
佛，
date?
上师吉
Yes, we
祥。
still
上师，
can.
弟子的母
Um,
亲骨灰下个
we
月
just have to,
农历
we
3
just
月
have
初
to,
10
the
所
key
诞
person, the
生
person,
日
the main
是
person is the
吉祥
key. Others
日
are not
子，
important.
故
So
以灵性
Amitabha,
象征
auspicious
解
reading the
决
master,
吉
my
祥胜
mother's
怎么
remains
化解呢？
will be buried on the third day of the third lunar month at 3 p.m. the
这
Shen
个
hour.
好像是认识的。
My zodiac sign is
看
a
我这个字都
tiger,
读得
the
懂。
hour of in,
第
which
辛
clashes
苦会
with
下
this
个月
hour.
农历
Can
3
I
月
just recite
下
the
午3
auspicious
点
verses to
是
resolve
成
this
长
issue?
弟子
So
弟
I'll
子
repeat the question.
虎
Basically,
鼠
the
啊
question
属
is,
虎
he said, my mother's remains will
引
be
申相
buried
冲
on the third
什
day
么
of
样
the
吉祥
third lunar month at 3 p.m. at
其
the
实
Shen
吉祥
hour.
冲那天都
And
下
my
午就
zodiac
结
sign
束了。
is
那我们
tiger,
假如对那天
which
已经
clashes
选
with
好的
this
吉
hour.
日
Can I just
吉
recite
时，
the auspicious
然
verses
后
to resolve this
呃，
issue?
在
So
没有其
I've
他的
mentioned
选择
that
了，
um,
就是那天是对大家最
unless you
适合
couldn't
的，那怎么办？
choose an
我们
auspicious
就
date
念吉
and
祥颂。
auspicious time,
那假如你问说吉
then
祥颂真的能够
we
化解吗？
recite the
一切都
auspicious
在我们个人
verses.
信心，对根本上师的信心。只要你
So
的
some
信念
people ask, can the
有
auspicious
有
verses
很
really
大的信心，
resolve this issue?
有
We
100%
should
的
have
信心的话，那
confidence
真就不得了了。
in ourselves and of
所以
course
其
our
实做人要
grandmaster.
好， 诵这些记也好，
So whether reciting mantras
要
or
看我们
verses,
对待这个自己的
it depends on
对待自己根本上的信心有多少。
our
假如有
mindset.
十足信心，
It depends on how much confidence we have in a grandmaster. If we have 100% confidence in
等一
grandmaster,
下，那我们就
they would
诵。
definitely be resolved.
好，
好，感恩上师的解答。那接下来第11道问题：如果往生者
So
生
the
前病重，
question 11, if a
陀
disease
尼被盖身体，
was very sick prior to passing on, can the Dharani blanket be used on the
这个陀罗
deceased?
尼被啊，通常呢，
This
一
Dharani
般人的
blanket,
理解呢是人往生后呢，就快点
in
给他盖上
general,
陀罗尼被
a lot of people,
啊。
in general, the
那假
understanding
如他是
by
弥留状态呢，我们也可
by
以
the
给他盖
general is
上
that
陀罗
you
尼被，
can
因
cover
为已
this
经弥
blanket
留
on the
状态
deceased
了
the moment he
啊，
passed away.
不久于人世了，所以我们就不用考虑了。所以
We
这
know
里
that
指的那个
he's
病重
dying.
应该是弥留状态吧？啊，假如我们
If
已
he's
经
dying,
发觉到他根本就是已经是病入膏肓了啊，
and we know that
就
he cannot
是
be saved.
就是时间问题而已，也就是弥留状态，
So it's just a question of
所以我
time.
们就不用考虑，就把它盖上陀罗尼
Just
被，
simply put a Dharani
哦，
blanket on
这个是好的。
on the person,
好的，
on the
明
sick
白，感
patient.
恩上师。那接下来第12道问题，上
So
师
the 12th
往生
question is,
之后是盖在
do we
骨灰
place
盒
the
上，
rebirth blanket on the cover of the urn? Is that right?
被盖在骨灰盒上，骨灰坛
Okay.
应该是往生被盖在这个王子的身上，对不对？然后假如他已经
So more appropriately, it should be covered on the body
去火化了，
of
那往
the.
生被是跟着火化的哦，没有
So
把
if
它收
it's
起
if
来
the
的哦。
body is going to be cremated, it
不可
will
能往生
sit
被盖
together with
在
the
骨灰坛上
body.
啊，啊，明白吗？就是说，王子往生了，我们就给他盖上往生被，然后入殓了
So once the person
入
has
棺
passed
了，
on,
然
you
后
just
盖棺了，封棺了，那
cover
往
him
生被
with
是在里面的哦。
with
然后
the
火化以后
the
呢，
rebirth
那也就是说往生被一起
blanket,
火化了，所以不可
and
能
this
往生
blanket
被
will
是
be
盖在那
cremated
个骨灰盒上的，
with
不
the
可能的。
body.
以前我曾经在巴厘岛好多年前了，
So
我那时候
I remember
我也
recalled in
他们
when I
这
was
边
in
我问
Bali
往
in
生被有没有啊？
Etiquette.
有
I
哪
asked them,
一
do they have
口
rebirth
讲往生被皱
mantra?
皱的。
Sorry,
我
asked
说
them if
诶，
they
这
have
往生被怎么这么皱
rebirth
的？原来他们那边往生
blanket.
被是轮流用的，
And
就是
I
说
saw that the
往生
blanket
后
was
盖上
very
往生被，
crumpled. And I
然后
asked why. Who
火
said
化
we
之前就
actually
把它收起
recycle
来，
this
然后下一位再拿
blanket?
出来用。
So
哎，我觉得这个奇怪，
before
有什么
cremation,
往
we
生被是
just
轮流
remove
用的？
this
所以我们
blanket
就跟着
because
王子
the
一起去火化，或者是一起去土葬的，
blanket
所
for
以
us
它不可能
it's
是
to be cremated.
在骨灰坛上的，不可能
So
的。
it's
好，
not to be
好的，
covered.
感恩上师的解答。
Sorry, so it's not to be covered on the urn. Amitabha, auspicious greetings to Master. If there are many memorial tablets of the deceased to be delivered, do we have to write the name on every? Do we have to write the name of every single every single name, or can I just put one name to represent the rest?
然后它的年位有1、2、2个，另外一个骨灰坛的是放他的那个精神代表他的衣服，4个年位我都写齐了。所以说，比如说我们到一个道场，哦，要几桌要报名啊，然后没有时
So
间
for myself, I will write them.
写其中一个就够了啊。假如能够写到什么牌位都写的齐全的话啊，当然是好啊。
So of course, if you're able to write every single name, that's better.
好的，谢谢上师。
If you can't, you could just put one similar address and write the names.
代表物包括哪些？和生级一样吗？
So
那通常是王子往生以后
for
啊，
the columbarium lot, what are the items placed that are representative of our spirit? Are they the same as the one
放在灵骨塔，那我们就
we
找他的
um
经常穿的
are they the same as the one for 生鸡 which is a life essence barrier.
那我上一次提到的我的
I think I
那个
mentioned the last time
彩虹雷战士双
for
连镜那边
myself
我
and the Rainbow
是我还活着
Temple
嘛，所以我
Columbarum.
精神代表物除了衣服以
My
外啊，
spiritual representation will be my clothes,
毛发指甲都有啊。
or
但
my
是只要往
hair, my nails.
找它的
But
成
if
因就够了。
if
好，
it's for disease, you just need to use the clothes that he had worn often.
有糖尿病
Question
怎
15: If one has a calamity about
谢谢。
上个星期我提到那
can
个
the
洗
blood
牙，
test
是
tube
不是洗牙？
from a diabetic patient be considered a substitution of this calamity? So I did mention last week that you can go for dental cleaning
验血是不是可以当做是血光之灾？
to as a substitution. Therefore, as to whether we can use the blood test tube
那一年血光之灾，然后到了一个
from a diabetic patient, I think we have to seek the guidance of Grandmaster.
开那个酒店之前嘛，被那个门板夹到，结果很痛。
So one of my fingers was crushed by a door when I left the hotel door. So I think this was unintentional. And I know that my this calamity of blood was resolved. So this was an accident and was very painful. But for dental treatment,
可以当做是一个替代
the
那个
dental
结束。
treatment can thus be a substitution. I think we should seek Grandmaster's guidance on this. So question 16. In marriage, how many years difference in age is considered a clash? Is there any way to resolve this? Last week, we also mentioned there is a chart which shows that a clash, 6 years difference is considered a clash.
所以一般来讲说，婚姻啊，
So
假
in
如
general,
一对新人
for marriage, for newlyweds, both the for the couple, if they are 6 years apart, it's a clash. But if you have been married for such a long time and then you discover that there are clashes, so what do you do? So there's actually a case
要生产的一个
whereby a lady, whereby Dharma sister, Dharma sister was entering into labor. He told her to recite the Kistigaba Sutra.
非常的顺利，而且
So it was a smooth delivery for her, and the child was an easy child.
既然已经是结婚了啊，
So since you're already, so this is like similar. So you have been putting up with each other for so many years, despite the clashes.
做功课
What do you do?
做功课
Cultivate diligently.
进当然是很好
You can recite the Kistigaba Sutra.
OK，
That's the only way to resolve it.
接下来第17道问题，阿弥陀佛上师。
Question 70, Amitabha Sangshi. Amitabha Master, if the remains of a disease, if the remains of a disease has already been scattered at sea, what can we do? This is a very good question. So it doesn't mean we mentioned that sea cremation is not suitable for most people, but if the family has already scattered his remains in the sea, what can we do?
放在那个骨灰塔寺庙
And
里
they
没有
didn't leave any remains to be placed at a columbarium. What can we do? So that's actually a solution.
葬殿那边按一个莲位就 OK 了。
What you can do if you install a memorial tablet at a temple if they have a Kisigaba hall.
好像我们印尼不是很流行海葬吗？
Actually,
目前的海葬他们都了解了，
sea
因为
cremation
在殡仪馆，好像我们雅加达那个殡仪馆，它是
and the funeral parlor in Indonesia, they are usually quite huge, like 5 to 7 stories. And once your memorial service is over, you just need to take a leave. to the cremation hall.
捡完骨灰以后呢，
And
我
2
们
hours
把
later, you can actually pick the bones
放到那个
and
骨
we
灰坛里
put
面，
put up the
然后呢
remains in the columbarium.
从头到脚都，
And when you
然
pick
后
your bones, there's actually a
那
sequence,
我们就出海把它撒在海上，
and
但是最
they
主要
will
呢
keep
是
part
那些
for
骨
the
灰
columbarium,
放在
and
骨灰
for
坛，然
the
后
remaining, they were scattered at sea. So we actually,
骨灰要丢去哪里啊？当然是撒去
because
大
there are
海是
too
最佳办
too
法
much
啊。
remains.
已经包办在里面了，所以那个其
So
实
this is included in the service of the funeral parlor. So the important part is you really
骨灰
kept
塔
part of the remains
完全撒在大海
and the
呢，
columbarium, but
最
you've completely
啊
scattered
就是
the remains
有
in the sea. So you have to find a
连
temple
位
with a Kisigaba
就
hall
OK 了。
and
好的，
install
理
a
解
memorial
感恩上
tablet.
师。接下来第18道问题，阿弥陀
So
佛是
question 8,
可以为剖腹
Amitabha, can we choose
日
a
子
date for cesarean section?
是可以的，
Yes, you
但
can.
是呢，
But
我本身曾经碰到过，时常
personally,
碰到这样的事情。
I've met
每一次呢，有
this
那些
situation,
同门
and
要
very
求
often some
选好日子
fellow
给他的
disciples wants to choose an
日节来
auspicious
剖腹生
date
产，
for
往往
C-section,
呢，
and
结果
often
好日子选给他了。
in the end, we've chosen an
我们当
auspicious
然是按
date.
照医生指定的那个几个时间段啊，就是按照通常医生会给
So we
3、
use
4个的 时
so we
间，
use
是按
the
照他的那个
dates given by
妇
the
产科的
doctor,
医生
the
指定，应
expected
该是在这
delivery
个时
date
间段
given
他会
by
生产
the
比较好。
doctor to try to
包
find
括
the
剖腹生
auspicious
产是
date.
有它的时间段的。那我们就在
So
那个
even
时
for
间段
C-section, they will
找
give a
啊，
date as well. The doctor will give the date as well.
几时？
So we're
那往
trying to
往
find
给
an
了他
auspicious date
几
and
时呢？
time,
结
auspicious
果
time
他
during this given days.
什么事情发生呢？
And we
他
have selected
在
the
几日几
auspicious
时
date,
顺利的，包括
date
剖腹生
and
产，
time.
顺利的给那个孩子剖腹生产。
But
为什么会这样呢？后
we
来我
never
想，
seems to be able to
可能就是
catch
那
that
个
date.
这样诞生的孩子呢，他没有这样大的
And I
骨
always wonder,
接受那个
and I always wondered why this
这么好的
happened,
日子，
why it never happened on the auspicious date and time. It's
求是说
probably
指
the
日
child doesn't have
3个星期
enough blessings.
求生的文集
It's not blessed
讲到
enough to be born on this auspicious date
尽
and
管
time.
给他求日，
And
结果是在
perhaps
当天
we
不是剖腹
can
生产
seek
啊
Grandmaster
就另当别
Grandmaster
论。
blessings
但我们就
on
是找了
this.
好的时辰的，它还是会偏差的，那个免不了。为什
So
么？就是我的理解就是那
in
个
a
孩
few
子
in the
没有
case that
这
I
样
have
大的福
still
报嘞，就是
deviate from the auspicious date and time we've chosen. So it's probably because the baby
有
doesn't
时候
have the
日
blessing
子已经
to be born on this auspicious
到
date and time.
时辰他就拿不到啊。
Sometimes
我谈了一
the
大
baby
堆，
is delivered
可以
on
剖腹
the
生产
auspicious
显
date,
示日子
but
可以
not
啊
the
就
auspicious
是
time. The
显
baby
着
couldn't
几
wait.
日几时，然
It
后
became
没有
a
充
natural delivery
啊，
and
对于
the
他
end.
那个尤其产妇没有充分的生效都OK 了。好，
好，感恩上师，我们理解了。
Thank you,
好，
Master.
第19道问题，阿弥
So
陀佛。
question 19, Amitabha.
接时往生，比
If
如
a person passes on during the time
写
when the
还是
two time periods
嗯
intersect, for example, death
那
occurs
个
at 1 a.m. What should
子
we write on the scroll?
子
The
时呢，
zi
我们知道子
hour
时
or
的时间
chou
段是
hour?
晚上11
We know
点
that the zi hour is between 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. and the chou hour is between is from 1 to 3 p.m.
哎呦，不准
So
嘛，一
if
点
it
往生
dies
的。
at
好了，
if
就
the
当
person dies at 1
那我个人看法，
a.m.
我们就写子时。
we
为什么呢？
personally I would take the 子 hour. So my understanding
往生的
is
时候，
if you
过了可能过了1、2分钟了，我们才注意
okay,
到，
because
哎，
if the person has passed on at 1
子
a.m.
的
he has probably
那个
passed
比
on
如
a
说
few minutes before. So it should be
12点58分，
at
可能
12,
就已
pass
经
on at
断气了。
12:58.
等到我们注意的时候，哎，刚好
a.m.
是1点，
that he has
所
already
以
passed on. But when we look at the
我个人看
time,
法，
2
我
minutes
是
have passed and
写
it's 1
子
a.m.
时
So for me,
，OK，
I
好，
would write
好
it
的，
as
明白，感恩上师。
zhi,
那我们最后一
the
道
hour
问
of
题
zhi. So there's a last question. I'm not married and intended to have my remains scattered at sea, but I
去
will
吧，没有
install
关
a
系。
memorial
让我的
tablet
灵魂跟
at
着牌位里
Pratna
面就
Lejang
可以
Si.
了。上
There will
士，我
be
这个
reverence will be
法会
reciting
吗？
sutras for
对
me.
的，
So
应该赞叹这个同门，还有这么
this should be
好的
okay,
一个
right?
引荐，一般人都不
So
去
it's
谈
very good.
这个
This
问题，
Dharma
所以我
sister
们应该
is
给
very far-sighted. Most people will not
后
talk about this. So his
安排
talk about
是可以的，
arrangements,
就像刚才那个
death
经洒进
arrangements.
大海的骨灰，那怎么办？
So I did just
那就
now
在一个
what
雷
do
藏
we
寺
do for people
那
with
边安那个
scattered
牌位，
remains
我
in
那个
the
是
sea? This is
很
similar
不
to the
错的
legal
天
question.
是诵经法会有大法会，他
So
也能够
yeah, it's okay. He can scatter
是很好的，
his remains in the sea and have a memorial tablet at Pratna
是解释兄
Lejang Si
，OK，
because
赞叹
好，
这
感
个，
感恩
reverence
上
will
师。
be reciting
今天
sutras.
呢，我们其实在
So
Zoom
this
这里
is
呢，也是
the
会
right
提出一
mindset.
些问题。那
So
由于
we've also
时间的关
received
系，
quite a
我们
number
就
of
会
questions,
邀
but
请
because of
大
time,
家。那今天呢，也非常感恩上
we will reply everyone on what.
和问题。
Thank you, Master, for patiently replying to all
这
questions.
3
Thank you,
堂的
Master,
授课分享，上师不仅
for
很多
sharing
生
so
活上
much
举例让我们学习，
live cases,
更精心准备了音乐来做一
in
个
our
完美
everyday life
结合。那非
and
常非常感恩上师
combining music
授课。
during
那
this
接下
class.
来呢，我们有请教育处处长联合上师最后
We'd
为我
like to
们
invite
致感谢
Master
词。
Lia,
阿弥陀佛
to give a thank you speech. Amitabha,
非常师好，
Master Lianfei,
上师好，阿弥陀佛。
greetings to Master Lianfei and everyone. While 3 lessons on auspicious events
每堂课都笑容
have
满面，
completed.
娓娓道来。
Master Lianfei is always so smiley during his class. He's got such a good voice, and his class, and his classes are delivered perfectly. They're so clear, and there's so many examples. There's stories, just like today, he talked about stories of Sang Mao, all the famous authors. I'm so enchanted by all the stories.
还要
And every lesson closes with a beautiful song.
谢谢莲飞上师。
Thank you, Master Lianfei.
大家知道吗？莲飞上师曾经
As everyone knows that Master Lianfei
丽君同台演出过。
has sang together with the famous singer Teresa Ting. Master Lianfei said that there was a long time ago. Let's give him a hand of applause.
高手啊，谢谢莲飞上师的授课，而且您
So
那
he's an
么
expert.
耐心的回答同门的提
Thank you for so patiently answering the questions of the students. We have 20 questions today.
这门课也是很
So we can see that this class is
在生活中都会遇到的。
so we can tell that everyone can connect to the contents of this lessons. Contents and its lessons. It's going to get more exciting for the later classes. So I would like to conclude that we haven't heard enough from Master Lianfei.
那个您主持的精彩的扶正的视频呢？
Oh, we haven't seen the video from your
时间
from
不够
the video of you conducting a marriage blessing ritual. We hope that we'll have the opportunity to look at this video. Thank you for delivering these classes and thank you for all your explanations.
谢谢你，感恩。
谢谢。
Classes have been exciting and interesting.
感恩联合上师的支持。
Thank you. With gratitude to Master Lianhe.
希望有机
With
会
gratitude, Master Lianfei. We hope that with a chance to listen to Master Lianfei's class. Would like to for next week class. Next week class we will enter into a chapter for what a family should know, what are the matters that a family should know, and it will be taught by a professional funeral planner, Demo brother 吴自在。
2014年获得哲学硕士学位。2016年
So,
在
Demo brother 吴自在 some of his resume
服务以及技术士，就是能统筹规划并指导丧礼服务执行资人员。
So he's a qualified funeral, he's a certified and qualified funeral planner. His resume is very rich. So remember to join us for our next class. So before we end class, let's take a group picture together. Let's take a group.
准备好了，可以给我知道，那我们就开始大合照。那大家请大家打开视频。
Please turn on your video.
好，准备。那我这里呢，因为人数比较多，我就倒数。
Because we've quite a number of people online, so let me do a countdown. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. The class has ended. Finally, let's invite Master LianFei to say goodbye to everyone.
尊敬的总委会长
The Honorable Chairman, Master Chen Zhu.
宣传处处长李烈上司，还有
Publicity Director Master Lin Yue, PR Director Master Lin Jia, Education Director, Director of Education Master Lin He.
还有特别我要感谢这个主持人邱印助教。
We'd like to thank MC, the interpreters.
好，谢谢大家。希望有机会我们大家再次见面啊。那我也非常期待下一节课的这个课程。
Next week's class as well.
课程都非常丰富，所以大家
this year's class are all very
百事的课程。
interesting. The contents are very rich. Thank you, everyone. Amitabha.
谢谢大家，谢
Thank
谢
you, Master. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, the interpreters, for myself and the Payfan. And thank you, Master Lin, and thank you, Master LianFei, and Master Shi Lianru for leading the respective translation teams.
我们下周
Everyone on Facebook, Zoom, Facebook. We meet again next week.
大家一起说再见，拜拜。
Goodbye.
拜拜，
拜拜，
谢谢上司，
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 拜拜，
拜拜，拜拜，
再见啦，
见，
谢谢谢
拜
谢上司。
感谢感恩感恩，再见，拜。
谢谢，再见，晚安。
看到吴
谢
志在
谢上
老师也在线
司。
上了，
安，哇，美乐助教，
期待下个星期
那下次再见。
后课。
谢谢上司，谢谢
大
拜拜，
阿弥陀佛。
拜拜，下个星期不见不散哦。